Welcome to video 2. This is about the data says your communication impact is determined by your meaning and emotion. The first video was about the quality of your life. The data says is about your meaning and emotion. In this one, I'm going to describe, based on that theme, the summary of meaning defines your direction, emotion drives your behavior. And at a high level, this can be looked at as personal performance, team performance, your output, your effort. I have a picture here of a movie called The Perfect Effort, which is from the most successful sports program in history, a high school sports program. And the description actually is perfect effort, which came from the players. Are you giving a perfect effort in life to your family, to your community, to your business? These are thoughts. But to do that, we must communicate and make impact. That includes listening, that's just not talking. But let's go through some excellent communicators and what we should try to do and how it's actually defined by those two things again, meaning and emotion. If you change the meaning and your data in your life changes too. How you respond, how you react, how you listen, how you assess, how you plan. But remember, similar to the quality of your life, nothing in life has any meaning except the meaning you give it. That's why meaning is so important. What meaning do you give it? And then do you also live it? And that could be whether or not you're a teacher, a salesperson, an executive, a farmer. It doesn't matter. I think this is really just about making the point how emphasizing the importance of meaning and emotion. So in this equation linearly, I'd done research and seen that events and their meanings drive your emotion, which then drive your actions, which then form your destiny. And that's and with communication, this is not just communicating with others; it's also with ourselves, which may be arguably the most important part of communication. But certainly both are needed for our best performance, for God, for whatever you believe in, for your time here on earth. Now, for an example, executive selling communications impact. I'm fascinated by this being a career seller in my career, but I think a lot of people, whether or not this is someone you want to date, someone you want to meet, someone you want to associate with, this example is specific to selling, business selling. In this example, this is about how a lot of people lack confidence and the skills, but they're basically reluctant, meaning they don't and they won't engage executives and let's look through some of the stats here. Lack of confidence and skills is in this IDC survey, found that's why 61% of sales reps are not skilled at selling to C-level buyers. And actually, going down, 57% of C-level and VP buyers want phone contact, not email, and they prefer that. It's a better way for them to discern if you're wasting their time, if you're going to serve them or not. They could decide. I think emailing and hiding behind that and staying at low levels is something that we need to have more meaning and emotion towards. Meaning that what I mean is, in that summary, to deliver our best impact, it is best done by engaging who we want to engage, and to get sales done, as it says here at the top of the second part, it's crucial to engage decision makers. They're the ones that justify budgets. They're the ones that sponsor your solutions. You don't do that, then I think down here at the bottom on my video is covering part of it up, but actually it says 70% of sellers are missing their quotas. Most of that actually is from lack of executive effort to make those calls, to make those interactions. And I think we're really underserving ourselves if we do that. There are a lot of different types of sellers. There are sellers who can take orders, who have seemingly great resumes because they've been taking orders and then farming leads and opportunities have come in and acting like they're incredible when really the businesses they're in are. Some people are hunters 100% on their own and build their own business, and they earn that. But to go through that, you have to go through a lot of rejection. But what is rejection really? I'll talk about that some. It's really redirection. But I thought this is an interesting example. Your communication can't be effective unless it's done with the people that really matter. We shouldn't hide behind that. Life's too short. We're here to make impacts. Okay, now the impact that you can make with communications equals the response and actions and outcomes. We want to drive outcomes. We want to drive action. We want to assess their response and be sensitive to it. And I think I love this statement by Michael Bosworth. who I met one time. He was really brilliant in some of his sayings, and I love this quote. This is really the reason why I created this video. The value of your communication is determined by their response. Does it matter to them? I think this relates to deep listening. It relates to research. It relates to smart questioning. But basically, will it work for them? Why? Why would they care? And then the how. But first, certainly the why. Why for whoever you're trying to sell to, serve, and engage to give them results that would more than pay for whatever you're selling or whatever you're offering. Now, fear is not real, but it is something that people look at when they face rejection, especially around communication. But I think if we look at communication in an honest, genuine way, meaning communicate to people the way you would want to be communicated to. You don't want your time wasted. You don't want someone to show up not research. You don't want someone to tell you something that's only self-serving for them. It's not going to help you, your business, your community, your family, whatever it may be. So I think fear is a reflex, but if we really focus on the honest meaning of trying to engage, we should do that. Now, some people, including the most successful or the highest, the NFL player in history with the most touchdowns, Jerry Rice, 208 touchdowns, really amazing. He actually drove himself through more of the sort of stick, the carrot and stick analogy, by fear. He said he had extreme fear of failure. This is in his Hall of Fame speech. He talked about it. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. It could be that also, and just wanting to do your best. But I think we should all have some level of fear. Life is short. We're here for whatever God's plan is, or whatever your divine plan is, or whatever you think your personal reason is to be on this earth, religiously or not. I think trust is really that glue. If we're going to communicate with each other honestly, trust is that glue. We can succeed, and that might be sometimes having a lot of conversations that don't go anywhere, but I think if we're honest, we can make progress. Now, this is just a quick list of research I did to try to be data-based or evidence-based in this summary, but why rejection is just too much of an obstruction really to society and to people. And just go through some of these quickly. Rejection equals danger. People are hardwired that way. It shouldn't be that way. Rejection should be just looked at as you're not coming up with you need feedback. You need to sharpen your description of what you're going to do for a customer or a person or whatever the situation is. Rejection often is a loss of status. I see this a lot with salespeople, that they don't want to do it because they might think it might affect their ego or their status, when all of us should be getting to know as quick as we can to really understand if we can even help someone, because sometimes you can't, or a company. But there's no reason to pause on that. Rejection can also mean I'm not good enough, or people saying that to themselves. Not true. It can also mean loss of control when they think they have control. It can be a threat to their identity, who I am as a person, that can impact them negatively, and they shouldn't be looked at that way. It also can be looked at as isolating, when actually teams and businesses and communities and families, we're all in this together. It shouldn't be looked at as on one person.